Hello, this is OldCrowBalthazor. Welcome to Balthazar's Strategic Arcana. So this is the conclusion of my series with Duedman with the Total Realism Project mod for Strategic Command World War II War in Europe. I'm going to do an AAR, kind of a summary of where the mod was and where it's going to be. I have to apologize everybody if I resigned early. I usually don't resign, but there was no way that I could even resist the Axis powers. Duedman did some really good moves. He's a brilliant game player. Before we even started this mod, I had tested earlier versions, and there are a lot of differences. And anyway, one of the results of this series is the developer David Martinez or Lothos and a bunch of us behind the scenes were keeping track of the progress of this match. Now, of course, I did make some pretty critical mistakes. I was also unaware of a few things, but there were some things that needed to be rebalanced. And I'll do a video in the future of what that entails. He has a new version called 1.3. This is 1.2.2. There are some changes. Some of the changes are resolved in this video. Some of are other testing behind the scenes. This mod is designed for against the AI on expert, so you're going to get a lot more units that you're going to have to encounter. But there have been some fundamental changes that he made. Lothos, and thanks again, Lothos. I am going to be doing this again. I'm working with a couple people behind the scenes on tests. Probably are going to do a multiplayer match in the future anyway. We'll see the final moves. So I informed Duedman that I was resigning. There was no point because the United States, it takes at least a year for them to ramp up, and he just crushed me here. I made a real huge mistake here of Leningrad. I should have left a unit in there. I just didn't anticipate the onslaught well. But the thing is the Germans, they could have been restrained if I went to lost Malta first so easily and Egypt. So there was nothing that the British could do to relieve or help the Soviets. So anyway, that is it. Not going to get real deep into this, but I am going to explain a couple changes that have resulted from this. A few. And like I said, I'll do another video in the future. Yeah, he didn't respond. We were talking via other means. So let's just go take a look. Yeah, he doesn't even have anything over here. Yet there was not much I could do, having lost all of this. And Sudan was going to be next. This was going to end up, there was just nothing I could do about this. We did resist pretty good, but yeah, fine job on his part. Same with the Soviets. I did make some mistakes here. Thing is the earlier version I played against Unfortunate Son, I had to suffer an onslaught like this, but I was able to slow them down. Once the mud came, they just stopped. But again, I was able to put a lot of pressure on the Germans over here via the British, and then down in North Africa. We had seesaw battles in that game. But I didn't lose Malta, and he tried. But earlier last year, you can't do all-weather aircraft at all. Now, so there's been some changes both in vanilla and with this mod, actually. As a result of this playthrough and then testing on the back. One is Poland is strengthened, and we did some tests. And Poland can resist a lot better, especially if the Allies or the British want to try to beef them up. And so this was on the suggestion of Jason, Chengdu, somebody who I've worked with in the past and playtested some of his mods, he suggested, and Lothos or Dave Martinez did some changes, and we tested it, and it's more accurate because the German army did take some serious damage when they took Poland. It takes a little bit longer, they resist better, and there's that. Another fundamental changes are the Magic line is going to be extremely stronger. Strasbourg's going to be a fortress. Metz is fixed. There's that. Another big change is Malta is going to be a fortress. Now, we didn't want to make it totally invulnerable to the Axis, but in tests it can be still taken, but it takes a lot of work. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to go do I'll do a video once we get done testing the latest version. I am going to be doing another multiplayer match in the future. We do like this, but again, you know, when you design these games, single player is totally different than multiplayer. And then you play an opponent like Duedman, who's an expert. Well, things can snowball out of control. So we didn't want to waste time. We both behind the scenes we started trying to fix balance issues. Can't fix mistakes I might have made, but and I made a critical one down here. With my fleet getting waxed, well, I didn't realize that the Italians had an event where they can keep the ports open. Now, when the Malta effect was going, I was noticing all the towns here were hurt really bad, right? After Malta fell, at least in previous versions, it took a couple turns for these ports to in the previous tests that I did. It took a while for the ports to recover in the towns in Libya, but the Malta effect is not firing, which is basically an abstraction it knocks down all the whole supply down here. The Italians get, if they spend, it's a lot of money, and I know Duedman had to do it, they keep the ports open, at least to 5, which means the British got to go in and blockade these ports better than I did. So when I walked in here with my fleet, I didn't realize that he already had an Axis, German HQ here. I knew he was going to probably be able to bring Luftwaffe elements here, but I thought they would be unsupported by an HQ. I figured I was going to have to, they were going to handle me here, and they won't be able to reach a lot of my forces here. So, boy, did I get waxed. And then I had to extract myself out of there, and he got me good again. So, but once Malta fell, and he got 2 German corps here, well, mistake on my part. I didn't realize he was going to do that. I thought that I had time. So with the British, at least in multiplayer, it might be wise at the beginning of the game, even if you're going to have to not spend a bunch of money on research or whatever, you might want to early on buy a couple British armored corps. Now, it takes quite a while to build them. Let's see if I have, no, I can't do anything. But anyway, it's quite a while, but get him to Egypt in case Malta falls. I couldn't resist his units here. He had two German corps. He didn't even have Rommel in yet, see. And the British, all they have spawned was 1 British armored division, the 7th. I never did get the other division, or the corps, which the U.S. Can provide tanks. And it's U.S. decision. I never got it, probably because Cairo was bombed by Strat bombers. Another change with that mod is, well, there's too many Strat bombers for the Germans, so he fixed that. There's some vanilla changes that happened too. The planes rebase and stuff. They fixed that, and also you can't detrench anymore in bad weather. So, of course, we were playing this mod. And then all of a sudden we had those changes, and then of course we were trying to house rule some things for balance, and then other house rules were more for flavor. But there's that. But I can't take this victory away from Duedman. He did a great job. I knew I was going to be in trouble too, but yeah, things fell apart pretty quick after this, and the British just could never. They just didn't have enough money. Everything started collapsing, especially after you lose Egypt and Iraq, and you can't take Iraq back. That's serious money, man. So yeah, the British line can lay low until the Americans come, but they do got to have some kind of credible, if not a defense, at least some action to tie up more Germans than what Duedman just was not afraid of me over here. He knew I couldn't do much. Did he bring the fleet out? Oh, he certainly did. Well, anyway, there's that. So, like I said, hey, congratulations, Duedman. Him and me put a lot of work behind the scenes on this, and we did want to make it a pleasurable experience, not only for both of us, but for the viewers. I hope we succeeded there. But like I said, I usually just go to the bitter end, but this would have collapsed. They would have been on their own. The United States would get into the war, and well, it takes a year just to get a good torch going, or at least tell them the next. You know, if it's December 41, November, December of next year, you muster enough forces to get in over here. You could do some things like I did against Unfortunate Son and take the car and stuff like that. Get experience with these guys, and they actually did that. They actually took down some of these Vichy states here because they wanted to secure the littoral here on the Atlantic, right? So there's that, and the last thing tried to salvage the game. Duedman had declared war on the United States to get him in, but I had just sent him an email said, no, don't do that. Let's just get out here with our honor. We're trying because we've been trying to shift the game to try to keep it going, and it's not fair to him. It's not fair to me. You know, it's not fair to the viewers that we quit. But that's it. That's the way it is. So anyway, we're gonna revisit this again, and so there's that. So apologies again if anyone's disappointed, but we will come back and do this again. And I have been testing with other people the newest version, and there's been a lot of great ideas that came not only from those tests but from this series that me and Duedman produced. So again, thanks, Lothos, and I'll be in touch with you about any impending series that we're going to do, or I'm going to do with somebody. So with that, oh, and I will be playing Duedman. We've been wanting to play. Probably won't be this mod, but we're going to play some probably SC title multiplayer. Don't know what though. But we are going to do it. That's a definite. So with that, this is OldCrowBalthazor. Thanks for following this series, and well, I am gone. See you on the